Happy Hump Day, happy Hump Day, happy Hump Day. I am Dr. Valerie Renee Shepherd, and I'm coming to you live from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery. And the Hump Day Happy Chat is an opportunity for us to connect on the level of what things might be troubling you or filling you with joy, and how to experience your life as an expression of yourself. The whole idea of the Hump Day Happy Chat is that you get the opportunity to embody the principles of self-mastery as I teach them in my body of work. That self-mastery is mastering you in your life so that you can exquisitely manage whatever your life brings your way. And since our lives always bring us a combination of things we love and things we don't, things we want to do and things we absolutely won't do, a mixture, it's helpful to understand how to analyze and interpret what's going on in our lives and make decisions about who we want to be in our lives. So I bring you these things once a week. I usually get some inclination from my higher self. I also get questions and bring answers to you. In fact, I'm going to be on the Love Light show on Friday with Dr. Jean Farish, and it's going to be live, and people are invited to call in. So you can watch for more information about that on my Positively Happy to Be Me here, or Positive Life with the Hartley Center Facebook pages. And so please, 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 by all means, join and share your insights and get your questions asked. I'm so happy that you're here. And today's title for Hump Day Happy Chat number 233 is Pretty is as Pretty Does. Pretty is as pretty does. And this thing came to me. I don't even understand fully why. It just came to me as this messaging around getting below the surface of things. And I think that has become important in my world because everything is not the way it seems. It's not the way it seems even in me. You know, when I think about what might be going on with me at any given moment, everything's not exactly as it seems. And when I look at the outer world and I make interpretations and then I make decisions based on the interpretations, and then I might find out, everything is not exactly as it seems. And so the question here is, how good are you? How good am I? How good are we at looking deeper, at looking below the surface? I talk in my book, Living Happy to Be Me, Dancing Your Soul Light Style. I talk about how it's really important to cultivate the ability to, in yourself, go underneath the surface of things. As you're dancing in the pillars of self-mastery, it's really helpful to be able to say, on the surface, I'm feeling this way, and what might be going on below the surface. And as I'm interacting, I'm noticing this, and I'm wondering if it isn't a little bit more about that. So the question here, I put it, pretty is as pretty does. It was something that was said to me when I would want to, have on nice clothes and have my hair all done properly, and, the outward appearances that, and wanting to be awesome, outward appearances, the beautiful green grass that then turns out to be astroturf. right? The handsome guy or the gorgeous woman, but then deep inside them, what they express is not so pretty, it's not so handsome. There may be some level of selfishness or anger or hatred or abuse that is like a part of how they show up in the world, which means it's going to be a part of how they interact with you at some point. The Great Deal, this is the one that I've been hit with. The Great Deal, business deal, or a partnership offer, or something like that, that has in the past gotten me, like a gotcha, where I was so busy being excited about what was on the surface, I wasn't asking enough questions, also known as due diligence. I wasn't doing enough of my own questions and my own curiosity to kind of see, is all that glitters gold in this situation? Is this really for me, or is it something different, something else, something less than what I'm just seeing on the surface by looking just on the surface and only with my human eyes? Only with my human eyes. I have a teacher who talks about cultivating your ability to discern. And what I've taken that to mean in my life is cultivating the eyes to see. And I'm talking about three eyes, my third eye as well as my human eyes. So my spiritual sight as well as my human eyes. Ears to hear, and I'm talking about my physical ears and my big receptor, my heart, and the physical body as a receptor, as ears to hear, and then the heart to receive. So when things lure me in with promises of beauty to come, that I have an ability that I've cultivated in myself to feel, to see, to hear, to know whether all that glitters is really gold or not so much. So this idiom, pretty is as pretty does, sort of reminds me, it's like my reminder of I have a job to do in creating my spectacular life, in creating the life that I really love to live, and in feeling like I'm on track, is to give myself the opportunity to see below the surface of things and to trust, when I've cultivated this ability, that I am seeing what's true and what's real, and that what's on the surface may be true and may be real. They may not be the full story. They may not have the full measure of what's really in store, what's really a part of the situational dynamic that's showing up. I hope that makes sense. If you're with me, watching on the recording or live, type in, yeah, I'm with you, Valerie. It's worth asking questions and cultivating this ability in yourself, because it's much harder to do in retrospect, to do as a part of the whoops, I've got to now unravel the gotcha that's happening. I've got to somehow figure out what I'm going to do to remedy this horrible situation. So if all that glitters is not gold, I'd like to know before I put in the effort and the energy to have it, to do whatever is necessary with it. I want to know. So it's really important to cultivate. So when I say to cultivate your ability, that means to put some love energy in it, like you would with a plant, and you're cultivating the soil as you're about to put the seeds in, or as you're putting the bulbs down, or as you have people, as you have the plants ready to go into soil or into a pot. And when you fertilize them and water them and talk to them and trim them, like cultivate. So to cultivate something is to give that energy to it. And when it's in you, it's cultivating your ability. And that requires some commitment, some practice. It might require some training. It might require a coach. It might require a workshop. It might require that you go a little bit above and beyond your typical way of understanding, of finding discernment, of leading yourself in your life. You might have to go a little over and above what you normally do to cultivate your ability to discern whether pretty is all the way below the surface and not just the shiny object that you're looking at. So how do you do it? Okay, so there are a couple steps. Number one, slow everything down. Slow everything down. And this is hard for me, or it has been in the past, because I'm kind of an impatient gal. I want what I want, and I want it right now. That's a part of the transformation that would take my life to another level that I continue to work on, to grow in my capacity to slow down and to create space and to be patient, a word that I have a love-hate relationship with. So slow your roll. Release some of that urgency, the urge to rush in, the urge to like, oh man, and there are a lot of things in this third dimension that work against that. There's the takeaway. If you don't buy now, it's not going to be available, or if you don't buy now, the price is going to go up. And I'm not saying any of those are wrong from a marketing and sales perspective. I think they're fine. That's not what it's about. What it's about is your discernment to be able to look below the surface and understand if the offer or any other situational dynamic is right for you at the present time, considering all kinds of variables. What is your vantage point? So the slowing down, slow your roll, is about giving your wise higher self and that still small voice with which it speaks to have an opportunity to provide some input, to provide some guidance, to give you the information that would make it possible for you to avoid the retrospective analysis that lets you see it was never great in the first place. So if it's as good as it sounds or looks, it should be good tomorrow, or a couple days from now, or a week from now. And if it's bad, it's not going to change into something good overnight. So slowing your roll is really about giving you a chance to check in with you. It's about giving you a chance to slow down and take a concerted effort to look below the surface. Breathing and quieting the sense of urgency within you. It's a skill. It's a skill to be able to step back and listen deeper. And often what I hear happens with my my former students and what happens with me is, well, that impulse buy quiets, and I have a chance to notice, oh, I already have that color in my wardrobe a lot. Or, oh, I think I've got this resource available to me, but actually it's earmarked for something that is really important that is coming down the road. Or I hear what is being said, but something about it is triggering some sort of perturbation within me. Like I'm not I'm not feeling so great about it that I have to jump in right now. And I think I want to check. I want to feel if this is really right for me. So the slowing down is an opportunity for you to take a deep breath and come back to your center and then listen again. What is the message coming from your center, your deep heart about this? The next thing might be I should ask a couple questions. Maybe I should ask some questions that maybe even questions I'm uncomfortable about asking. One thing I've learned about myself through the years is I never used to ask questions that I didn't want to get the answer to. And that may sound like, oh, no problem, that's not a bad thing. But it was for me in several cases because there were some glaring truths that I was not giving myself an opportunity to know, to see, to uncover, to whoops, don't want to do that. There's not wanting to hear something that was going to say no because I was so enamored with what was in the, like, right there in front of me. I wouldn't ask the question, but that doesn't change the answer, right? The fact that you don't have the courage to ask the question, Valerie, Dr. Valerie, doesn't change that the answer is not the one I wanted. It just meant that I got more deeply engaged before the answer revealed itself. So asking for more information sooner rather than later. And this is a place where discernment, this next tip is a place where discernment takes on a little bit of a challenge for people, which is feel. Feel what your body wants you to know about the circumstance. We often make choices with only the intellect, without the emotions. And a lot of people believe that's right. We should only be dealing with our brain's ability to tell us, to sort and analyze, and tell us what's right, what's good, what's sound, what's appropriate, what's advantageous, what's profitable, what's sure. And the brain contributes a lot to discernment and decision making. And it should be used in service to the heart. The power of the heart to discern for you and bring in the intuitive wisdom of the body physical can really make a big difference. And so learning to feel what your body wants. So for example, I've cultivated an ability within myself to know when my body's giving me a yes or a no. I don't always listen. That's another skill. Like giving myself the permission and the demand, actually, like the declaration of listening. And then really allowing myself to hear what my body has to say. So the example would be when my body is giving me a no, definitely not, I can feel a contraction in my chest. It's as if I close up, like my whole chest can close in on itself. And if I'm just standing there, I don't even necessarily have to feel the shoulders going down, but I can just feel something in the middle of my chest just constricts. It just starts to feel heavy and constricted. And I don't even have to close my eyes anymore and like get really intent on listening. I can just ask, is this a yes or a no? And I will get a very clear answer. And cultivating your ability means if you have spent much of your time not listening to the body's language, not listening to the messages from your higher self through the physical body, the body may start to atrophy, and it may be that it's difficult for you. It may be more difficult than you want it to be to know exactly what's being said. And so you'll have to practice. You'll have to come back into relationship with the physical body and practice. Like, really get into it. What does my body want me to know? I feel stuff in the center of my chest. Sometimes I feel also a chill. Like, where did this chill come from? Well, it's a form of a no that I get. When I get really, really, really quiet, I can also hear. I can hear messages. They're often one word. I'm not getting sentences with a subject and a verb and a predicate. I'm not getting that kind of stuff. I'm definitely not getting novels. I might get one word or two. One time I was driving away from someplace and I was frustrated and I couldn't find what I was looking for, and I heard a very loud stop. And I literally pulled over, pulled off the road, and got very quiet and listened. Listened. What do you want me to know? And the message I got was a turnaround, and I could feel the energy of what you want is there. You just didn't find it the first time. Go back and do it again. It wasn't words like that. It was just a feeling, a confirmation of what was possible if I would turn around and go back. And what happened was monumentally awesome. And so what I had seen on the surface that I thought was not so good wasn't the truth. The brilliance was waiting for me when I went back. And I know that you have some of these circumstances that you can remember. And so this is about cultivating that ability, cultivating that ability. Because if I had, as I'm doing more of the cultivation, that turning around, like that having to drive a few miles and then hear my higher self saying, stop, and then turn around, well, that was not wasted time. It was beautiful time for me to see me being me. But I would have had a different experience of just experiencing what was in front of me with a deeper level of discernment. So your body has so much to say to you. I am really emphasizing how important the body's messages are to everything in life, but definitely to your discernment around, is everything that glitters gold? Your body can tell you so much. And then the last little tip would be to consciously ask for a higher vantage point. Consciously ask for your angels, your ancestors, your guides, your guardians, your higher self. Show me what I can't see. I constantly am saying, show me. Show me what, show me when, show me where, show me how. Show me. And then being open to receiving the answer and moving in that answer in faith and trust. And the trust is trusting yourself in the discernment of whether the prettiness that has enamored you runs deep. That's what we want, is that what we see on the surface runs deep. And when we go below the surface, it's reinforced and reinforced and reinforced. That's the good juju living, is that what we see on the surface is also what's below it. That's it. Today's Hump Day Happy Chat. Thank you so much for being here. If you're watching on the replay, hashtag replay, and maybe give us some comments or questions for another Hump Day Happy Chat. I'll answer them in a chat, and I'll be sure to protect the names of the innocent. And I just would love to hear from you. It's so special when I get messages. And I thank all of those of you who have been sending messages, and keep those cards and letters coming. And I always have been closing the Hump Day Happy Chat with the Karanaya Metta Sutta, the prayer of loving kindness from the Buddha. And it goes like this, and I hope it tickles you as much as it tickles me. May all beings be peaceful. I had to take that deep breath. May all beings be safe. May all beings be happy, joy-filled. May all beings awaken to the light of their true nature, like your true, deepest, truest self of peace, love, joy, and freedom, of being a divine being, of being an individuated fragment of the one true principle of love, which I call God, that awaken to the light of your true nature. And may all beings be free. And that's about emotional freedom, not necessarily geopolitical freedom. Like free of the things that would hold you down. Free of the things, the traumas, the wounds, the distortions, the misinterpretations, whatever has you on a path that isn't serving you at your highest good. May you be free of those things. Right here, right now. Hallelujah. Ashe. Aho. Amen. Many blessings. Thanks for being here. I'll see you on another Hump Day Happy Chat. I'm Dr. Valerie Renee Shepherd, coming to you from the Hartley Center for Mindfulness and Self-Mastery. Many blessings.